Hi, how are you? It's Travson here, and welcome back to our adventures in Diablo 4 Season 1. Today we are going to hit level 94. First, it looks like I need to get rid of some more sigils, guys. Been getting a lot of elixirs and sigils lately. Let's get rid of some of these. 44s are what we probably should get rid of. There we go. I think that's enough. That should be good right there.
Fairly well.
All right, so let's get a elixir going, and we will do Paladelph. Dungeon affixes: Night Nudging Evade, Death Pulse, Monster Attack Speed, Monster Barrier, and Monster of Overpower Resist are the dungeon affixes. Yeah, I hope we can make it, guys. It's getting down to the wire here. I'm really going to have to put in like a big day where I just go hard and try to get as much XP as I can. One thing I hope they fix in Season 2, or just future seasons in general, is just the progression curve of the game. One thing I've noticed is, like, from playing the game, this is my second character I leveled up. Here we go, level 94, nice. But, I've noticed that the progression curve is pretty damn good. From, like, levels 1 to 65 or 1 to 70. And then I noticed once I get to World Tier 4 and Ancestral start dropping, it just like skyrockets like this. Where like, it's over. Like progression's just over at that point. Which I think is not good. We're in trouble here. Wonder why we're getting rocked like that, man. Getting beat up by these cannibals. But I think it should, they need to change that. And I hope the increase of item power will help that. Like probably we'll get higher item power items from 80 to 100. But we'll see what happens. It's probably going to take them a season or two to figure that out. That's one thing I like about Classic WoW. There's always something you're striving for until you defeat Naxxramas. Once you defeat Naxxramas, you beat the game. But to get to that point, it takes quite a while. Like you have to level all the way to 60. That takes you like 6 to 8 days of in-game time. And then farming enough gear from the dungeons and the raids to get into Naxxramas takes a while. And it's a pretty good progression curve. Like you have to go from, you know, Molten Core into Blackwing Lair, and the Blackwing Lair into AQ40, and then after AQ40, there's Naxxramas. They have a few catch-up raids, like a 20-man, called, there's AQ20, and then I can't believe I forgot the other one. You fight a car. Car's the last boss. I can't believe I forgot it. I think it's called ZG. Zulgur. See, I don't know. I can't believe I forgot. But it was another catch-up raid. Just helps you gear up. If you know, didn't get into the mix soon enough. But the progression curve in Classic WoW is pretty damn good. And I wish games just kind of focused on that and make sure they have something like that before they release the game. Because if this game had something like that, it'd be so much better. And the reason, and like, you know what I noticed was kind of interesting? The way I died there, I was just like in a constant CC chain. And I wasn't able to get out of it because I didn't have my one ability that can get out of CC, which is Shadow Step. And I think they're probably going to nerf that in Season 2. I'm pretty sure they are. That's what made Druid so awesome, man. Is you would have so many abilities that get you out of CC that you never really had to worry about it. I've noticed on my Rogue, we really only have one. And there's probably some classes that only have one, but the cooldown is just ridiculous. It's such a lame way to die. It's usually like the way I die, I think. It's just I get caught into a CC chain. I don't have a way out. Sometimes I just get blown up. Supposedly they're going to change Paragon glyphs and uniques in Season 2. So this game's going to be like completely different. It's going to be like almost a complete overhaul.
It needs time to recharge.
And one mob I always thought was kind of interesting in Diablo games are the mobs when they die, they blow up and they take damage. And it is avoidable, but it's like an annoying... It's annoying. You have to like kill a mob and then run away. I'm not too sure how I feel about like that mechanic. It should feel good to like, you know, slay a mob. And like having to backtrack after that, I don't know, just for some reason in my mind it just feels weird. There's like a lot of kamikaze mobs in this game. And this affix that we have is like that too, the death pulse. It pretty much just, it's like, it makes it so every mob has this like kamikaze ability at the end. So you kind of have to move or you're dead. Died to death pulse a couple of times. It is a pretty scary affix, especially combined it with the AoE poison as well from these mobs. Oh, we got a goblin, nice. Oh, we fought a goblin and it didn't give us any loot when we killed him. There we go, we got some there. And it's amazing how they were able to like push out all this new stuff for season 2. I think that shows you that they really had season 1 locked in when the game came out. Which is probably why we only really seen like a new story and the addition of Malignant Hearts, which is not much. But you look at season 2, there's like so much new stuff. Like it's seems like they really doubled down for this season. This is like a sort of like an emergency season, I think, where they're really trying to like bring back the community. And it's good. It's good. I'm happy with what they're doing in 2. Oh, season 2. I think I've said that a million times, but it's true. I think season 2 will be a lot better. We'll see what it's like, though.
It needs time to recharge. I need more time.
And it seems like they're going back to like the old style of Diablo. Like we're able to just, teleport to dungeons. I'm not too sure if they're going to incorporate the open world as much as they did at the beginning of the game. All right, keep leveling up Turf.
My bags are full.
All right, here we go. Let's head back.
You have a deal. That's good for me. Why not? Watch your back, eh?
All right, we don't want the aspect on this, so we'll get rid of the Sacred Helm. Ancestral Legendary Chest Armor. Doesn't have the stats or an aspect we want. How about this ring? Same thing. Another Ancestral Legendary Chest with stats we don't want and an aspect that we want, but we have better ones. This one's not bad. This one has a decent aspect. Maybe we'll hold on to that. We don't want the stats, though. Same with this crossbow, and usually we just get rid of bows because they're not better than crossbows for our build. Crossbows are just better because it gives vulnerable damage. So it makes it so good. Let's put this right here. I'll put this away. Got so many gems, man. It's going to be awesome when that just goes right into our material stash. All right, let's hop into Boulder's Cave. Tier 45. Dungeon affixes lightning color, powered elites, monster poison damage, monster poison resist, and monster crowd control resist. It was, I kind of like what Diablo 3 it did. Like my Diablo 3 playthrough, like it did, what I did is I played a hardcore monk, and the goal was to slay Malthael and Diablo on Torment 10. And it only took me like, I'd say 15 hours to do that. Maybe a little bit longer. And then usually what people do after that, you know, or once they're able to clear Torment 10, they start climbing the Greater Rift ladder. So there's still something to do after that 15 hours. But it's kind of like you're in the... You get to like the end game pretty quick. While in 4, it's taken... Probably been playing for over 60 hours now. And I'm still not really at the end game because I'm not 100. I would assume that most people consider the end game to start at 100, but to be honest, it does start at 70 once you get to World Tier 4. It's just weird for me that like I'm not max level. I don't know why. It just seems weird to me that I'm not like max level after like, you know, a certain amount of hours. The thing is, 2 was like that. You know, you could always keep getting levels in 2. It took a little longer than this.
Need more time.
And then we're also done with Paragon as well. Which would take me like much longer to do in 3. Like, if they get to Paragon level, I think 150 or something like that. More than that? I forget what they capped it out at. But recently they capped it. It used to be like, you could never cap it out. You just get stronger and stronger the more you played.
I'm not ready.
So I guess that's why it takes so long, because not only are you maxing out your player level, you're maxing out Paragon. So it does make sense why it takes so long. But I think the problem is like after this grind, there isn't really, like after, like Uber Lil is supposedly not going to be that challenging. I think it might be tough. But if I like one-shot it or like two-shot it, I'll be kind of disappointed. But we might, because we have a decent build. And our gear is not bad, so I'll kind of be surprised if we don't have that much trouble with it. But I think the fight should be hard, so like hard mechanics-wise, to the point where you should have to try it like multiple times to beat it. It is considered to be the last boss of the game at the moment.
Need more time. I'm not ready.
Well, we'll see what happens. If we get there, we gotta get to 100 first. It's been a challenge in itself. And to get to endgame, it does take around, like, I'd say 30 hours for this season. Next season's going to be 40% less. So it'll probably be like 40 hours, maybe like probably 30 to level up. And that's solo, just solo leveling.
Need more time. Need more time.
What a great dungeon, though. So many mobs. The density is awesome over this game.
Need more time. I'm not ready.
The thing is, Diablo 2 kind of felt like that too. Like, I wasn't level 100 when or like, you know what I mean, when I completed that playthrough. But we did beat Bale on the hardest difficulty. And it didn't feel like that repetitive. Like, we just beat the game on like 3 different difficulties, and then we defeated Bale at the end. Because I assume like the leveling grind after all that, it just gets pretty repetitive, right? Kind of where we are right now in Diablo 4. Like, you just do Bale runs and try to get like lucky with loot. And Diablo 3 is like that. Like, after you get to like Torment 10, you're really just trying to get lucky with loot, you know what I mean? You're just doing greater rifts over and over again. Once you get to like Torment 10. And then the gear upgrades get reduced by quite a bit. You don't see them as much. But you can always just switch up and try different sets and stuff like that. I noticed I used like multiple sets in 3.2, which was kind of cool. So like, I'm not just building, you know, like a set, like one set. I'm building like multiple sets, and it was easy for me to switch to those sets. Just something I think they should implement in Diablo 4. Is turf done here? Oh, we're so close to XP.
My bags are full.
All right, so let's head back here. Got a Paragon point, which was good. Let's see what we got here.
Well, I would like that. Unusual, but a good addition to my wares. See you again.
Such a legendary dagger. Stats aspect we don't want. These gloves are pretty good, but not good enough. It doesn't have the third stat we want. And this dagger, not that good. No aspect or stats that we want. All right. So let's head back here to the stash and we'll do another dungeon. I wonder if they're ever going to change this like mechanic they have for like game development where every player has to load every other player's stash. Because that was supposedly like an issue why they weren't able to give us more stash tabs. I hope that does change. Because if they're not able to change that, then it's probably better if the game's just not an open world game where you can just like connect with a bunch of different players. The game's probably was better the way it was, where it was just, you know, server based, where everybody had their own server and there was a max of like, I think 4 to 8 players per server. I think that'd be good. Just to go back to that if they can't like stop that problem, but we'll see what happens. Akon's Grasp, Dungeon Affixes, Fire Damage, Stormbane's Wrath, Monsters Cold Damage, Monster Regen, and Armor Breakers. But yeah, it's like it's a shame that like that's an issue, man. Because being able to like have more stash tabs, have multiple builds you can play. Because to be honest, if I played Diablo 4, I would love to have a build and like items that give me insane amount of movement speed, and I could just fly through a dungeon and level up my glyphs. But to do that, it's like a huge headache where I have to get rid of all of these and then like click like over 100 times to like rebuild it again. You know, my Paragon table needs to be completely reset. Like, you should be able to just swap that, you know what I mean? And the sad thing is, this is in previous games. Like, you were able to just swap your build and your loot instantly, you know, in Diablo 2. You know? Because I would honestly try more builds if I could do that. The reason why I don't, like I've only used this build the entire time for the last 60 hours, is because I don't want to switch and then switch back. Because I did that on my druid and it was kind of a headache. Also, it costs you gold and it costs a decent amount of materials just to do it. And then if it doesn't work out, it's like, whoops, just wasted all that stuff. You know what I mean? That's going to change in the future, 100%. I don't think that's coming out with Season 2, but in the future, there's no way this game doesn't allow you to have, like, multiple specs that you can play. That has been in, like, games for over a decade, man. Like, they brought dual spec in to World of Warcraft in, oh God, I'm going to die. I'm in, like, a constant CC chain. But yeah, they had that to World of Warcraft in like 2008. It's like 15 years ago. You know, it should just be standard in games by now. Like there's a game you're playing and there's like multiple specs you can try. You should be able to do that instantly, like to switch to a spec. And it shouldn't cost you really anything. Maybe there should be like an upfront cost to get the dual spec. But that should be about it. Like this game should have dual spec, or it should have like triple spec, quad spec. Be able to have a bunch of specs, dude. That's the fun part about Diablo, is just playing different specs. There's just a lot of standard mechanics that have been in like Blizzard games for ages that are just not in this game on release. And season 2 just feels like it's a development update. You know what I mean? Like the game's not really out yet. They're still developing it, and
Need more time.
they're releasing a bunch of stuff that they developed over the last 3 months, which is awesome. That's awesome that they're doing that, and the game's getting, you know, back to normal. But the problem is, the game should have been like this. That's like, and that's probably why I'm going to take a break. Because I think I should take a break because the game's just going to get even better in Season 3. I think the next time I might play is when Ladder comes out and they release like a ladder system.
My bags are full.
Like, I'm kind of shocked there isn't a ladder system out by now, or even for Season 2. It's kind of crazy. This is full already? Gotta do something about that.
It needs time.
Yeah,
to
once this
recharge.
game gets a ladder going, I think that's when the development's going to be... If the game's fully released at that point.
It needs time to recharge.
And the game's probably still considered to be in development, I would say, Season 2. Like, I was honestly shocked that Season 1 didn't have a ladder. I was fine with it that the Eternal Realms at the beginning didn't have a ladder. I'm like, oh, whatever, that's cool. We'll just bring it out when the season's kind of... And then once I heard, like, we got to wait till Season 3 to get a ladder system, I was like, that's just crazy, man. Makes you wonder if they even thought about that. But that's just like a standard thing in Diablo. You know, Diablo 2 has a ladder, Diablo 3 has a ladder. It's just the way it is.
Out of energy.
One thing they did well, though, they made sure the first, like, I'd say 40 hours were pretty good. 'Cause the story was pretty damn long. So they did a good job with that. And then the grind from World Tier 2 to 3. And then 3 to 4 was good. So it's a pretty damn good game. Like, it's a lot of small things that they just need to add. And I guess they decided, hey, you know what, we'll save those for later. And then they would be considered as, you know, like game upgrades later on.
Need more time. My bags are full.
One thing I do like respect about this game, they sure did make sure that it wouldn't be pay to win, which is awesome. So hats off to them about that, man. That's something that a lot of people were worried about before the game came out, and was like, Diablo 4 going to be pay to win. A lot of people thought it was going to be like Lost Ark, and Diablo Immortal, but it's not. Not at all. They did a great job with that. The only pay to win,
We're not ready.
I guess, element they added was you can play 4 days early if you pay a little bit more for the game. Which is, I guess, pay to win. But it's like there's categories of pay to win, I'd say, that are more extreme than others. And that isn't that extreme. Unless you were like trying to compete for World First Hardcore, then I guess that would be like a pay to win aspect, right? If you wanted to be the top 100 people, I think it was top 100, right? Get level 100 hardcore. I got put on the Lila statue in front of Blizzard Entertainment's office. So I guess they would like consider that a big deal, but majority of the player base wouldn't. The word of a con. What? I already picked that up. There we go. All right, here we go. Turf. Got it. There we go. It's maxed out. Perfect. For every 5 strength purchased within range, you deal 9.9% increased damage to close targets. It's quite a bit. Guess we'll level up. Probably closer. I think closer's a good one. We'll level that up next.
Out for blood.
And one thing I think, like maybe games shouldn't have betas anymore. You know what I mean? Like I know betas make sense because, players play the game and then they, deal with bugs. But it also takes away the nuance of the game where like the surprise and like, oh, this is new and like nobody really knows. I think games are just a lot better when they're discovered at the same time. Everybody discovers it at the same time. Because nowadays with games, there's always like guides and reviews like right when the game comes out, which is ridiculous. And like with since games still, end up having bugs even after the betas and the alphas, like whatever. What's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah, give it over.
Like I honestly think early access and betas are kind of lame. I wouldn't mind a game that's like completely buggy because I know they're gonna fix it. Right? And like we're all going and like the player base is all going through with this stuff together, you know what I mean?
That's a deal.
I know bugs suck, but I just think the gaming experience would be better in general if it was more of a surprise. Because it's kind of sad because a lot of games get beaten by like players before they even come out. And I think that's kind of lame.
That's a deal. I'll shake on that.
Sacred Legendary Ring. We don't want the aspect. Don't want the aspect on this legendary dagger or the stats. Ancestral legendary bow. Don't want the aspect or the stats. Word of a Khan. We have a better one. It's higher. Well, higher item power. Sovereign Mail of Shared Misery. Don't want the aspect or the stats in the chest. And same thing with this one. We have better stats in our other one, and we don't want the aspect.
Don't ruin all that work.
Yeah, it's hard. It's getting hard to find upgrades. It's all good though. It's just the way it is. We're at the end game. It's just the way it is. But yeah, guys, that is going to be the end of today's episode. As always, thanks for watching. Keep your heads up. Later.